Welcome to Teolumen Insights, where we reveal the hidden forces that shape the way you live and show you how to use them to create real transformation and supercharge your health, mindset, and daily life. Here are your hosts, Emma Greenwood and Nathan Sinclair.
Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be exploring the law of connectivity and the Akashic Field.
Really fascinating how this idea of interconnectedness, which has been, part of spiritual traditions for a long time, is now like finding a place in science.
Yeah, it's like science is finally catching up to ancient wisdom.
Yeah.
And, we're not just talking about metaphysics here. We're diving into the hard science, precognition, quantum physics, even the structure of the universe itself.
Let's start with a question that might seem like science fiction. Can living beings actually see into the future?
Okay, now you've got me hooked.
All right, so picture this. There was this study where they took these flatworms, very simple creatures, and they seemed to react to something negative, a startling sound, a whole minute before it actually happened.
Hold on, are you saying they were reacting to something that hadn't happened yet? That's some serious premonition. How can we be sure it wasn't just a fluke, though?
Well, that's the really interesting part. This isn't just about worms. This predictive anticipatory activity, we call it PAA, it's been seen in birds and mammals, even humans.
So you're saying this future sense, this PAA, could be in us too. That's incredible, but also a little creepy. What does it mean for free will, for how we make choices?
What makes you question our typical understanding of time and cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
If we could react to things from the future, does that mean it's all predetermined? Or do we have some deeper connection to information, letting us see possibilities before they become reality?
It's like our brains are tapping into some kind of cosmic internet, downloading bits of the future.
Precisely. And that leads us to a concept that takes this interconnectedness to a whole new level, the Akashic Field.
I've heard about this Akashic Field, usually surrounded by, mystery and whispers.
Right.
Is it really as esoteric as it sounds?
Well, the term comes from ancient Vedic philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
They describe the Akashic Field as this universal library, a record of absolutely everything that's ever happened, is happening, and will ever happen. Every thought, action, event throughout all of time and space, all imprinted in this field.
So it's like a giant cosmic memory bank holding the past, present, and future of, everything. That's a lot of data. How could something like that even exist?
It's an idea that's really captivated philosophers and mystics for centuries. But it's not just ancient lore anymore. Modern thinkers, people like Ervin Laszlo, a pioneer in systems theory, are finding links between the Akashic Field and cutting-edge physics.
No, that's interesting. How does modern science, especially physics, approach something as vast and seemingly intangible as the Akashic Field?
Well, it's all about finding those threads of interconnectedness that seem to be woven into reality.
Okay.
And where better to start than the very strange world of quantum physics?
Quantum physics, now we're talking. It's like the Wild West of science, where the rules of reality get a little blurry.
Yes.
How does quantum physics support the idea of an Akashic Field?
Well, let's start with one of the weirdest things in quantum mechanics entanglement. Picture two particles linked in a way that seems to defy distance and time. You can separate them by, say, light years, change one and the other changes instantly.
Wow.
It's if they're talking through some secret channel, a level of connection that goes beyond our normal ideas of space and time.
Okay, that's wild. It's like those particles are two sides of the same cosmic coin, no matter how far apart they are. But how does this entanglement thing relate to the Akashic Field?
Well, if information can be shared instantly across such huge distances, it kind of hints at a deeper underlying field that connects everything. Some physicists think the Akashic Field could be this very field, a non-local web of information that's everywhere in the universe.
So entanglement could be evidence of this information superhighway connecting everything in the universe with the Akashic Field as the source.
Exactly.
Fascinating.
And this is just one piece of the puzzle. There's another really interesting thing in quantum physics that gives even more support to the idea of the Akashic Field. It suggests our consciousness might play a bigger part in shaping reality than we used to think.
Oh, now you're speaking my language. We're talking about the observer effect, right? The idea that just observing something can actually change it.
Precisely.
It's like reality is a choose-your-own-adventure book, and our consciousness is choosing the path.
The observer effect throws a wrench in the traditional view of reality, existing separately from the observer. It suggests that consciousness can affect how particles behave at the quantum level.
So if our consciousness is impacting reality at that level, does that mean we're all contributing to this Akashic field, this record of everything?
It's an exciting possibility, isn't it? If the Akashic Field is this giant information storehouse, and our minds can change the information in reality, then maybe our thoughts, intentions, and experiences are all getting woven into this cosmic tapestry.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. We've gone from psychic worms to particles communicating across the cosmos to the idea that our minds might be shaping reality itself. And we're just scratching the surface of how this all connects to the Akashic Field. You know, when I think about entanglement and the observer effect, it's like getting a peek behind the scenes of reality, seeing how it all works.
Right.
But there's this other idea in physics, even more out there, that might just blow the whole thing wide open. String theory.
Ah, yeah, string theory. A fascinating, though still theoretical way to try and unify all the forces and particles in the universe.
It's like the holy grail of physics, but also notoriously complex. Break it down for me. How does string theory play into this idea of the Akashic Field?
Okay, so instead of picturing particles as these tiny points, imagine them as tiny vibrating strings of energy. And each particle, we know electrons, quarks, photons, they're all just different vibrations of these strings, like different notes on a cosmic guitar string, you could say.
Okay, I can kind of visualize that. So not a universe of tiny billiard balls, but more like a grand symphony, each particle a different note.
Exactly. And just like if you pluck a guitar string, it can make the others around it vibrate too. String theory suggests this really deep interconnectedness is at the heart of everything.
I'm with you.
Some physicists even think these vibrating strings could be carrying information, constantly sending data across space and time.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. If these strings are always sharing information, it's not a big leap to imagine a field where all that information could be stored. Right? You're talking about the Akashic Field, aren't you?
Precisely. String theory gives us a way to understand how such a vast, interconnected field of information could actually exist. It paints a picture of a universe woven together by information, going beyond our usual ideas of space and time.
So it's like every single point in the universe has the direct line to every other point through this network of vibrating strings. And the Akashic Field is like the central hub orchestrating it all.
It's a powerful image.
It is.
But hold on tight, because we're about to go even further down this rabbit hole of theoretical physics with a concept that makes even string theory seem almost normal.
You're killing me here. What could be more mind-bending than a universe made of tiny vibrating strings?
Let's talk about the holographic principle.
Okay.
Imagine this. What if the three-dimensional reality we experience, the world we see and touch, is actually a projection of information, and that information is stored on a faraway two-dimensional surface?
Wait, are you saying that reality, everything we know, is basically a super advanced hologram, like we're all just characters in some cosmic laser light show?
That's the basic idea. As strange as it sounds, the holographic principle is a serious idea in physics. It comes from trying to make sense of both quantum mechanics and general relativity, especially when it comes to black holes, those ultimate cosmic enigmas.
Black holes, the things that gobble up everything, even light itself. What do
Yeah.
they have to do with the universe being a hologram?
Black holes are fascinating because they push our understanding of physics to the limit. One of the biggest puzzles is this thing called the information paradox.
Information paradox. Sounds intense.
It is. You see, according to quantum mechanics, information can never be truly destroyed.
Right.
But when something gets sucked into a black hole, it seems to vanish, along with all the information it carried.
I see where you're going with this. So where does all that information go?
That's the billion-dollar question. The holographic principle might have an answer. What if, instead of being lost forever, all that information gets stored on the event horizon of the black hole? That's the point of no return, beyond which nothing, not even light, can escape.
So you're saying the surface of a black hole is like a giant cosmic hard drive, holding all the information of everything it's ever swallowed.
Exactly. And here's the really mind-blowing part. When physicists did the math, they found that the amount of information a black hole can hold isn't about its volume, like you'd expect. It's about its surface area.
Hold on, so you're saying the amount of information a black hole can hold depends on its size, but like the size of its skin, not what's inside. That's
No.
like saying how much you can store on your computer depends on the size of your monitor, not the hard drive.
It's a wild idea.
Yeah.
And it got physicists thinking, what if this applies to the entire universe? What if our 3D universe is really a projection of information stored on some distant 2D surface?
That is seriously mind-blowing. But if the
Yeah.
universe is like a giant hologram, where is this 2D surface that's holding all the information, and how does the Akashic Field fit into all of this? Okay, but where is this 2D surface, this cosmic hard drive, and how does the Akashic Field fit in?
That's the big mystery. We don't know where or even what this 2D surface would be.
It's like trying to find the edge of a map that might not even have an edge.
Right. Some physicists think it might be at the very edge of the observable universe. Others say maybe it's on a whole other level of reality we can't even see.
Okay, so if the universe is like this giant hologram, a projection of information, could we say that the Akashic Field is the source of that information, like the blueprint for everything?
Exactly. The holographic principle gives us a way to imagine how such a huge interconnected field of information could actually work. Think of the Akashic Field as the source code on that cosmic BVD holding the information that creates our 3D reality.
So the Akashic Field is like the source code of the universe, and the holographic principle is the operating system that makes it all run.
I like that analogy. And it makes you think about ourselves in the universe in a whole new way. If we're all just expressions of this underlying information field, then the lines between us, each other, and even the cosmos, they start to get really blurry.
It's like we're not just watching the cosmic movie, we're part of the film itself.
Exactly.
That's a pretty amazing thought.
It is. And it raises some really interesting questions about consciousness. If the Akashic Field has all information, does it include our thoughts, our memories, our experiences?
And if it does, could we ever tap into it? Imagine accessing the combined knowledge and creativity of everything that's ever been.
It's an incredible thought. We might not have the technology or even the understanding to fully grasp it yet, but just the idea should make us rethink what's possible.
It seems like every time we dive into these topics, we end up with more questions than answers.
That's true.
But they're the kind of questions that make you want to learn more, to see the universe and ourselves in a new light.
That's what exploration is all about.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from those precognitive flatworms to quantum entanglement, string theory, and even the mind-bending holographic principle.
We've seen how the ancient idea of the Akashic Field, something once considered purely mystical, is finding a place in cutting-edge science.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is.
Who knows, maybe someday we'll have the ability to unlock the secrets of this cosmic library and tap into its full potential. Until then, keep those big questions coming. And remember, you're connected to something far greater than you can imagine. Thanks for joining us.